Manchester United 3-2 victory over Arsenal, and is the title race now fully opened? A lot of laughs going all the way to Aston Villa and Manchester City as the title race is officially reopened, courtesy of Arsenal losing and dropping points in the last two games. Manchester United have done the unthinkable. They have gone to a very tough ground. No team has won away at the Emirates this season, and Manchester United have managed to do this. In the other games, Chelsea Football Club still managed to win 3-1 away at Crystal Palace. And there is a lot to talk about. There is a lot to talk about when it comes to whatever has actually happened. Arsenal, are they bottling the league once again? The top four race is getting tight. The top four race is getting very difficult as Manchester United is looking like a strong contender over Arsenal in this fixture. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. The league is getting more interesting. Arsenal are now seeing their lead. Top of the league has been reduced to just 4 points. Manchester City can now smell blood. Aston Villa can now smell blood. Manchester United is in pole position in the top four. Chelsea, who held the top four momentarily, are currently moving into fifth. Remember, this is a game where Arsenal only scored one goal courtesy of a corner kick, the set piece FC. But today, the set piece has not been able to help them. The first goal, Martinez scores a silly, chaotic own goal, followed by Mbeumo, who immediately equalized in that game. Then we proceed on to the next one. We find after Mbeumo actually equalizes, then then Manchester United score again from a banger from Dogu. Then the game drags on. Then Arsenal score from Merino scores from a Rafi corner kick. Then the last dagger of the kick, what Cunha did, oh my God. Those are the kind of goals, and all goals that have been scored by Manchester United in this game were absolute bangers. So let us see what is actually going to begin.
Yeah. Southwest London. But the vibe is strictly Long Beach. Check it. Step in the room, fresh suit, tailored fine. Liam Rosie, losing class from day one, divine. Shaking every hand, greeting the press with a smile. Polite with the ink slinger, staying for a while. But wait, hold up, he's a red devil at heart. Taking the bridges wheel, man, that's a risky start. Nice to meet you, how you doing? It's a charm offensive. While the bridge is looking on, getting all defensive. Don't buy a house yet, don't even sign a lease. The contract's long, but the piece is gonna cease. Yeah, keep kissing R so they don't bury you fast. 3 games in, let's see if that man is gonna last.
Losing class, but the clock is ticking slow. They'll roast you later, Liam, don't you know? From the big dogs down to the bright lane in the West London sun, but we're feeling the rain.
Tyrone talks football is laughing in the back. Mr. Lingerlove's got the axe ready for the crack. Meddy's in the corner, hunting for the XG. Godfrey's Don Salad, too busy to even see. He's plucking straws, trying to find a reason. And that's when women's giving up on the whole season. Christians in the snow, freezing in the cold, while the Chelsea board is buying everything that's sold. A 6-year deal, man, that's a comedy show. 12 months later, 40 million out the door you go. You're the new Brighton now, just a feeder on the coast. Polite to the journalists, they're the ones who roast.
Don't get comfortable with sunshine. The purchase won't go through before the pink slip by.
Mocking laughter.
Check the stats, check the vibe. The blue flag is flying, but the wind is changing.
How about Julian Timber tried even harder? Tried even harder when it came to actually trying to win the league and trying to break Chelsea's all-time goal scoring record. Remember, went into this game with having just conceded 13 goals. They've conceded 3 goals, and now they have failed to break Chelsea's 15 goal conceded record. And you see, this is why I am not always scared about Arsenal, because I know this is coming. I knew this was coming. I knew that this was coming. This was the point at which Arsenal choke. This is the time when Arsenal choke. Now they're just 4 points behind Manchester City. And Manchester City will go into that next game scoring the first goal and looking to make it super, super difficult for Arsenal to actually progress. And that is what you actually try to do. That is what you actually try to do in this league. And Manchester United, I have to give it credit for them. I have to credit them because they took the game by the scruff of their neck. They did what had to be done. They won that game. They did it despite anybody even thinking that they are going to come to the Premier League and do anything. Nobody thought they will do it. Nobody thought that they are going to do it. But they still went ahead and did what was supposed to be done. And it's a lot of credit. And if you're watching us, kindly tell us where you're watching us from. And leave a comment on where you're actually watching us from. I'm seeing Isaac is here. Isaac, how are you? Hello. Oh, sorry. Am I mute, guys?
Tyrone, you are mute, please. You are mute. From the beginning, we can't hear you.
Oh. Is it through chat?
No.
Are you able to hear me now?
You are mute.
Oh. I think Christian, are you able to hear me? Can you tell me if you're able to hear me, please? If you're able to hear me, let me try to check via YouTube and see. Let me try to check via YouTube and try to see. Guys, are you able to hear me? No, Christian, I'm getting information that they're able to hear me. Isaac, I think it's from your end. I think it's generally from your end. Isaac, I think it's from your end. Just try to check. So yes, I was. This is what I was explaining. This was what we call prime Premier League football. This is what I call prime Premier League football. The only thing that missed in this game was having Arsene Wenger checking his clock and Cunha doing whatever used to happen during Fergie time, because it was a recreation of the prime Premier League, where Manchester United used to get that sneaky cheeky win at the Emirates, and we saw Arsenal back to what they were. They dropped points last week. They dropped points again this week. In a span of 2 games, they have managed to drop close to 6 points. And look at what is happening. The title race is back open. The top 4 race is as stiff as it can. And let's talk about Manchester United. This is a team that was struggling. This was the team that even Amorim had come out, and the place and the environment at Manchester United had become extremely toxic. It wasn't working. But they managed to pull the plug on Ruben Amorim. Carrick comes in, gets 2 huge games, away at Manchester City and away at Manchester United. And nobody gave any of them. Nobody gave Manchester United any light of day that Manchester United can go to the Premier League, go away to Manchester City, go away to Arsenal and bag 6 points. And they were able to do it. He has 100% record. And we are hoping that Arsenal are going to finish second again. This is also a live stream that we are also going to talk about. Chelsea 3-1 victory. I think Chelsea needed that win. I've said that the next 5 games for Chelsea are absolutely must-win games, because those are the games that Chelsea have the capability to win. But in the first half, we saw the usual Chelsea. They were being out-dominated. They were being out-muscled. but Sanchez kept on holding that fort until Estevao Williams managed to score a remarkable piece of goal. That was why he's one of the best players in the team. He scored that goal. Look at even the cheeky pass he made for the second goal for João Pedro. And that's why you look at when you look at Estevao, and you just have to play him where he plays best. You just have to give him the ball and give him the space and allow him to cook from the best position he can play. And that is what you get with the Estevao Williams. Look at the third goal. Clear penalty. I think the decision was superb. Even the yellow card was deserved. It wasn't a red card. And again, look at what he did. He went ahead, gave Enzo Fernandez the ball, and Enzo slotted it in the back of the net, and it was game over. However, towards the end, I think Liam Rosinia needs to work with his substitution, because you realize that Crystal Palace went a man down and you've scored 3 goals, and then you try to go ultra defensive against 10 men. I think that was very bad. I expected him to give minutes to players like Tyreek George, give minutes to players like Josh. There's no need of going ultra defensive. It was like he's taking off. Who was he taking off? He was taking off Caicedo. He's bringing in Fofana. I'm like, no, take off Caicedo, bring in Gusto. No need of going weak. You see, the thing of the problem of thinking that you can go weak, and I think Fabregas said this, that he will never ever make a defensive substitution towards the last minute of the game, because what a defensive substitution does is that it makes your team now move into a defensive approach, and that's how we conceded that goal. And you could see how Sanchez was so pissed because it was his 100th game and he wanted to maintain a clean sheet. I think that is one area where Chelsea really threw it off. It wasn't that last minute goal. It should have been a 4-0 or a 5-0. After that red card, it should have been a 4-0, a 5-0. That is when you bring in more attackers. You bring in Garnacho, you bring in Tyreek George, you bring in these attacking players so that they are able to. You see, when you bring in Garnacho, when you bring in Tyreek George, it means that now you're taking the initiative to try and win this game decisively. You probably don't concede that goal because now Crystal Palace would have sat back, but Chelsea allowed Crystal Palace back into the game. They allowed them to come and try to actually win that game. And that is where the problem is. You need a healthy goal difference, especially knowing very well that we are going to face very huge games, and we need these points and we need these goals. And we also need that clean sheet for confidence. I'm sick and tired of, and you could see the frustration on Sanchez's face. He's been giving it his all. He's currently, in my opinion, I've always said it, I'm voting for him as currently Chelsea's player of the season. So let me just introduce Isaac and Christian to say something about this game. There are 2 huge games. Chelsea 3-1 Crystal Palace, and Manchester United managing to get decisive victory over Manchester, over Arsenal. So let me give them a chance. Hello, Isaac, and hello, Christian.
Hi, Tyrone. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, fine. I proceed?
Yeah.
So let's start by Chelsea. It was the first game of the day before we end up with this derby of Arsenal and Manchester United. So there are good things to say today in our games against Crystal Palace. First of all, we always speak a lot about the 10 player on the pitch, but we forget to speak about the goalkeeper. So this is the moment to give the flower to Robert Sanchez. He has improved a lot this season, we have to be honest. And Crystal Palace get the first big chance in this game. In 1v1, Mateta and Robert Sanchez. He has cleared that. And imagine if Mateta scored that goal, maybe the change could be changed from that moment. So it was a big performance from Robert Sanchez. As you said it before, he wanted a clean sheet. We wanted a clean sheet, but unfortunately that goal came. We are going to discuss about the substitution. Defensively, it was quite well. Of course, apart from that opportunity Bajashile gave to Mateta in the first half, so it was quite well. So the things which I liked today the mostly, and this is also attention to Christian, because in our chat he was asking if it was a tactics or it was a bad day for Crystal Palace. In my opinion, I think it was first of all a tactics, because when you learn the game about Liam Rossignol from Strasbourg, he always played with double pivot, two midfielder who are fixed. They are not moving. Remember, with Maresca, he was playing Enzo and Caicedo, but Enzo was like a box to box. He was running away, going to the box, and sometimes track back in the midfielder to support Caicedo. But Liam Rossignol at Strasbourg was always playing with double pivot, two center midfielder who was fixed. Sometimes the left or right winger was overlapping or going to the half space to occupy the half space. That is a tactics which brought Liam Rossignol to succeed at Strasbourg. When he came at Chelsea, he should keep what get him succeed at Strasbourg, especially with the same midfielder who's Andre Santos. Then when he come at Chelsea, I think his first game was against Charlton or Arsenal, I forgot. For that first game, he played the same tactics he was playing at Strasbourg with double pivot. Then, after that game, he just gave up to his tactics. He went, he was playing, and most of Chelsea fans on social media was saying that this guy is playing same as Maresca. Yes, of course, he was making the same lineup as Maresca, playing Rhys James sometimes in midfielder. So it was same. But today he came back to what he knows, what he is doing better, playing with double midfielder. And from that tactics, there is someone who show up today on the pitch. That man is Andre Santos. See the game that midfielder offering us today, Andre Santos. Sometimes I was like, this man, is he a defender or a midfielder? Because he gave a lot of support today to the defender. The reading of the games, so his positioning on the pitch. For me, if I could give a trophy of man of the match today, I could give to him. Unfortunately, it went for Joao Pedro. So I think for me that was the most important tactics today by Liam Rossignol. Do on the pitch what you know. So don't go to things which you are thinking immediately on the pitch, which you didn't implement a lot on training ground and you brought it directly on the pitch. No. If he want to learn something else, he has to learn it, I don't know, on the training ground, going maybe in the FA Cup 16th round to try that. But when you come in the game like this, show what you know, what you used to do from Strasbourg to here. And you see Caicedo and Andre Santos today, they were perfect in the midfielder. That was good. Now, credit also to Estevao, credit to Joao Pedro. Actually, apart from sometimes when he was pressing less, but overall he played well. But going now to the end of the game, Liam Rossignol make me like someone who doesn't know football. All his substitution, I was just sitting and trying to understand the role of Malo Gusto on the pitch. I couldn't understand. And in the same time, he brought in, after a couple of minutes, he brought in this Dutch left wing. So I was like, what this man is trying to do? So I couldn't understand what he was trying to do. I know he was trying to protect some players for the next game against Napoli, but all those substitution, bringing Malugusto, where Chris James was playing right back, and then Cucurella was playing, I don't know, as a winger, then bring on the Jorel Ato. So it was something I couldn't understand. He has to improve that side, but overall we had a good performance.
Yeah, thank you very much, Isaac. You've really broken it down quite well from Andre Santos. And when you talked about the choice of double pivots, I've always said that he's using players where they're supposed to be. He's using players where they're supposed to be. And that is what is supposed to happen. There's no point of having a fullback playing as a holding midfielder when you can just play two holding midfielders. And it's also good to utilize Andre Santos where he plays best. Even when Maresca was here, I kept on saying there's no need of Maresca trying to use Andre Santos as an attacking 8, yet he's a number 6. It's like trying to use Caicedo in that attacking 8, and he's a number 6. So you're making a good player in his good position look like a bad player because you're playing him out of position. So that is what I've always said. Today, I also think that Garnacho would have made a lot of sense down the left. Again, Neto doesn't make sense when he plays down the left. It is just like that. Yeah. I think Garnacho would have made more sense, or Gittens would have made more sense starting down the left. Then there's one thing that you've talked about, and I've said about the substitution. I did not understand how we ended up with 7 defenders. Even if you're making substitution, it doesn't mean that we don't have attacking players. We have Garnacho. We had Tyrick George on the bench. Try even getting a young lad, McGew. Why didn't you even bring McGew and let them play together with Delap? Have that attacking threat. You see, the reason why, and this thing, Fabregas said it, if you start making high ultra defensive substitutions, you are telling the opponent that you are okay with the goals that you've scored, and therefore you want to seal out the game. And if this game was probably a 2-0 and you concede that goal, maybe you concede another goal during the extra time and you drop all 3 points from a position where you could win. So I think those are some of the areas that he needs to generally work on. So Cake Sam, you've really made a lot of comments, but thank you very much. I've tried to go there. Top 8 is good, but in theory, if Newcastle and PSG end in a draw, if we win, we move to 6. No, we should just focus on winning Napoli. And at the moment, let's just first of all stick with this Crystal Palace game, and then we'll probably talk about the Napoli game. Now, before I give Christian and Mehdi space, I also want you to give me a touch on the Manchester United and Arsenal game. How do you see it?
Yeah, I actually, my own prediction was that Manchester United will go there and win. Unfortunately, it happened. When in the first half Arsenal equalized, I was like, now Manchester United is going to when they scored the first goal, so I was like, they are going to win this game. But this man is same. We can give a same narrative to Manchester United as we give to Chelsea. You know, I like what you said before about Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim just came and I don't know, he just destroyed players. He wants to invent players. You know, the players, they came from academy. They train them, they teach them how to play football, and they give them natural position. Now, when you came in the professional football, you are trying now to change their nature, to put them in other position. It will not catch up by at the end of the day. No, but you have to play those players in their natural position. When Amorim came, he just trying to invent something. See what he did to Bruno Fernandes. He was playing him as a number 6 next to Casemiro. So it was devastating. It devastated this young player, Mainu. When this man, Carrick, came on, he didn't do everything. He just play each player in his natural position. Now Bruno Fernandes, when he's playing as a number 10, is most creating chance than as he was utilized by Ruben Amorim. See what Mainu is giving now to Manchester United. And today, Yes, yes.
Even Dogu, he was being utilized in a wrong position.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's the same.
and this is. Yes, Isaac. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, I think it's the same. The same what happened at Chelsea. It's like the same things which is happening to Manchester United now.
Yeah, and you've really said one thing, and I've always said this: for you to be an expert in anything, you need to do something for 1,000 hours. These players have played for more than 1,000 hours. So everything that you need to teach them in football, you teach them at the academy level. When they get to the men's team, these are people who need to know how to win games by themselves.
Yeah.
That is how they're supposed to be. And because of that, I don't usually see the need of a manager telling a player, stand here, you're going to receive the ball here. Just play them in their best position. When a player tells you that I am comfortable playing here as a number 6, as Andre Santos, play him there. Don't push him to play as a number 10. It's like taking square pegs and putting them in round holes, and it generally does not work. And I know Christian, I'm giving you a minute after when I conclude this, you'll be here. I know you have a lot to say. I know today you've just witnessed Primus in Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson back at the Emirates, and even Manchester United threw in the dagger during Fergie time.
Oh wow!
Yeah. To conclude, before you give the floor to Christian, I wanted to highlight also two things. The first thing is the penalty Chelsea gets today, because many people are saying that it was not a penalty, but in my opinion, it was a penalty. The speed, you see, in the speed, you cannot see it properly, but what I've noticed, that guy touched the ball 2 times. For the first time, it was not a penalty, but the second time, you can see that is like he blocked the ball to go to inside the net. So for me, it was a penalty. But the red card of Crystal Palace, in my opinion, it was not that fault on Caicedo should not be given a yellow card, in my opinion. It was.
You see now,
yeah.
But Caicedo, he has been a marked man. Mm-hmm. He's a marked man by Premier League referees. If you've realized, like in the recent 2 games, he has received yellow cards from fouls that shouldn't be yellow cards. Mm-hmm. He's a marked man. Now, that's why I told him he needs to change his game. Because now they are going...
This is what I told you last time. This is what I told you last time. If you notice, the manager also realized there's this, and this is why he's changed his position of playing. What did Mr. Lingard say before? He's no longer playing box to box. He's now just playing defensive holding for the same reason you were just explaining.
Yeah. Christian, I want to give you the floor. You give us a clear description of your view on the Chelsea game and the primes, Alex Ferguson versus Wenger.
Okay, you know me, I'm always contrarian. So as far as the Chelsea game goes, Crystal Palace they didn't do their homework. If they did a little bit of research, a little bit of homework, they would have known how to play against Chelsea. Against Chelsea, you just play compact, park the bus, and 80% chance you're going to get a draw, maybe even steal a win. But these guys decided to go and play open attacking football like they're some kind of AC Milan or, I don't know, prime Barcelona. But the problem is they don't have the quality. They don't have the essays anymore. They don't have... who's that guy who plays with Bayern Munich? They don't have those quality players they used to have. Mateta, he's a one-man army. And who's the other guy? One went to Barcelona. One went to Olise, Neste, and they're missing obviously their general at the back, the defensive general.
Guehi.
Yes, Guehi. So they've lost a lot of profiles, big players, which were the water carriers of that team. But
the manager has also said he's departing. The manager also said he's departing the club.
For me, it looked like the manager was making a statement to the board. Say, look at all these shit players, and we can't do anything. So they try to play like how they played last season and the season before, where the manager had record amount of points. Never in the history of Crystal Palace have they made so many points. But in this game here, as I said, they were horribly naive. And they were poor. They were really, 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 really bad. And if you notice, if you really looked their body language, they're chasing on the ball, they're closing down on spaces. They were slow. They were almost like throwing out their toys out the pram, almost like playing against the manager. When you're the manager, you throw your players underneath the bus in your press conferences, telling them these players aren't good enough. The board has what you say? The board has deserted me. The board hasn't done me a favor. So you're basically humiliating your own players. And I don't care who you are. If it's me in that situation, my manager publicly is humiliating me. 5% of my, I can say, energy or whatever it is will drop automatically, because you say, who the hell does the guy think he is? And this is the result of how they played. And that said, Chelsea also played very smart. I like the way they played. They, despite all this freedom of space they had, they played a controlled game. They wasn't hectic. It wasn't in a panic. It was a patient build-up play, and more direct. And I was happy to see that this tiki-taka-ing, whatever, 10,000 passes is maybe slowly going out the window, playing more direct football. And we have the quality, we have the fast players. You've got the Pedro Joãos, and you've got the Estevaos, and you've got Gittins, he's improving, by the way. And Garnacho, a good point. You said he didn't come on. This was a game for him, obviously. So there are green shoots of recovery. As they say, you can see signs. There's a new manager that's taken over from Enzo Maresca. I'm not saying Maresca is a bad manager. I never said that. But sometimes change is needed. Sometimes you can go mentally stagnant. Players, maybe they can run out of ideas and just need fresh ideas. Maybe even just a different voice giving you instructions in the dressing room. Even that, sometimes if you've been listening to the same voice for a long time and he bores you, or he's not inspiring you, or whatever, that can also sort of like put you down.
Yes.
But you can see,
I have a question. I have a question, Christian. Sorry for interjecting you, but how do you think Manchester City players feel having been listening to one man for the last 10 years?
Poor players.
How about Arsenal? How have they been feeling for listening for the same man for 6 years?
Oh my God! This is what they do. So interesting point. Very interesting point. Excellent point. So what do? So instead of changing the manager, they change players. They bring in fresh blood all the time. So they circulate. It's almost like a pond, where you breed fish in a pond. If you don't circulate the water and keep having fresh water, getting oxygen, the fish are going to die. And it's the same thing in a football squad. So you can't just change the manager if the manager is having some kind of success. So you circulate players, you bring in players constantly, 2, 3, 4 players, and this is how you keep the oxygen going. And people, and this is how I look at it.
And even to add to what you said, Tottenham Hotspur had reached that point. They had been with Pochettino for around 5 years, to a point where Pochettino was asking that Daniel Levy sign new players. It came to a time where Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Danny Rose, Walker, who was this guy, Dembele, he was playing together with Wanyama, Harry Kane, Son, Eriksen.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've been watching football.
Binge watching Tottenham. Yeah.
I think the game back then used to be. I think nowadays I lost a lot of interest, but back then I used to know like all of them. We had very good teams in the Premier League. So I realized that sometimes either you change the players or you change the manager. But I'm seeing Chelsea and modern clubs moving to an area where they're just going to sign quality players, and it's not going to matter whoever is on the dugout. Provided you have quality players, they are able to win games for you. And we are moving from that structured Pep Guardiola possession, move the ball here, have space, invert, overlap. We are moving from that. We are moving to a place where you're going to give the best players. If you want a winger, get a winger who's able to beat 1 or 2 players. That is a winger that you want. Get a fullback who's able to cross. Get a holding midfielder who's able to tackle, who's able to intercept, who's able to pass the ball. Get a number 8 who's able to bomb forward. And I always tell people that we are probably having the best box-to-box midfielder called Enzo Fernandez. He scored 7 goals this season.
Hang on.
This is a question that I have for Mehdi. Mehdi is the one who always,
even me. I
agrees
have a
with
question.
Enzo.
I have a question for Mehdi when he comes on just now. Did you watch the game yesterday, Liverpool versus Bournemouth? So how
Yeah.
did Bournemouth score the winner? Long throw in, the old school kartoffel and meat, kartoffel, so meat and potato, meat and potato.
Sam
Yes, Sam Allardyce. Long throw in. Guy heads the ball on. The guys can't clear the ball. Bang, goal. And Liverpool always concede long throw-ins. So some old school stuff is coming back again into, it's almost like fashion. You know, sometimes fashion from the 70s or 80s or whatever it is dies, and then like 20 years later, the fashion reappears, becomes popular again. Same with music, and it seems to be the same in football. There's some things like, you were just mentioning tiki-taka, playing out the back. Most teams are going away from that because it's just too dangerous. When your team's
And
first
also,
few.
teams have known how to defend effectively from
Yes.
possession teams. But I
Yes.
cannot rule out that probably in 2040, 2030, late 2030s, it may come back. But I'm seeing teams going more direct. I'm seeing signing of old traditional center forwards, not strikers, center forwards. No, not center forwards, center forwards. Where
So
you
they-
have the Delaps, the Matetas, the huge number 9s who are able to get the ball, hold the ball, pass the ball, who are able to constantly cause chaos within centre backs. I think we are moving towards that, not this false
Nice.
9. I don't see this false 9 thing. Yeah.
So
yeah,
before I go, hang on, before I go on about the Man United game, I would like to pass it on to Mehdi so he has a chance to speak about the Chelsea game.
yeah. Mehdi.
Hello,
Hello, Mehdi. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you guys?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Okay, a bit late in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah. You see, you're supposed to give us your view on the Chelsea game before we move back to the Manchester United game.
yeah. I think it's an excellent performance. Palace tried to be direct. That obviously didn't work. I think they've been very heavily handicapped with their situation right now. Obviously, Glasner's future is now definitely certain that he's gonna leave. They've lost their main centre back, so coming into this game, Palace weren't in the best set of circumstances. But regardless, 3 points are 3 points, and you have to take them at the end of the day, and that's what we did. I'll admit, sure, I take back what I said about Enzo. I think he's been excellent. I think he's been tidy on the ball. Today, especially, he looked very marked out of the game. But even then, he still managed to keep hold of possession. I think that's something Chelsea did really well today. Is even when players were losing their balance, they managed to keep the ball. And there were a few times where the openings were there. I think João Pedro had a good game. Estevao, of course, was excellent. Neto, you see, here's an interesting thing I've noticed about Neto. Neto's only good attribute is pace, but today you can see how that doesn't really work when you meet a defender who's as fast as you. Like today, he went toe-to-toe with Lacroix, and he really did struggle because other than pace, he really had nothing to offer. So I think that's the thinking point. Caicedo, I think, I'll give Caicedo credit for this. After that yellow card, he managed himself really well. Right, like he didn't do anything stupid. He had one scare challenge, and that was about it. But then he was pretty careful. He didn't do dumb stuff. Compare that to what Adam Wharton did to him. You can really praise Caicedo for that. James, I think he did well. The centre backs looked very comfortable, except for that one moment Badiashile gave the ball to Mateta. Cucurella looked excellent. Another thing that I was very disappointed in was why did we have 7 defenders on the pitch? Because it looked like, Palace in those last 10 minutes, especially in stoppage time, they looked like they were really getting space. They looked like they were really creating chances. And I get the logic.
And they were Amanda.
And I get the logic that, if we have more defenders, we can defend better. But, your team is going to be more camped in. You're inviting more pressure. It's going to be like about time when Palace get a goal, because you have to remember Palace are a very physical team. They do have more attackers. I remember in the dying stages of the games, there was a header which Sanchez saved. Sanchez also made another unbelievable save today, unlucky not to keep the clean sheet. It's just unfortunate when you have 7 defenders, none of them can hit the ball away. So I think that's something Rosinha needs to think about, right? Like, you still need to keep balance in the team. I understand you want to control the game, but you can't throw the equilibrium out the window.
And this is where experience comes in. And this is where sometimes I always talk about experience. And Rosinha's inexperience is showing. And he needs to learn this. That this is the Premier League. You cannot be 2-1 up towards the latter stages of the game and then choose to bring in defenders. You will even lose that game 3-2. And I think there is one game he will be punished for that substitution. You know, he did it in that, which was the last game that we played? Was it Brentford? He did it in that Brentford game. This habit of when you get to the last stages of the game, you are taking away the attacking power. It is bad. You will invite more pressure and you will lose. I don't know whether he's talking about that. Then there is one thing that there are two things that I wanted to get opinions of you guys before you proceed to the Manchester United guy. How did you see Wharton? Because I think Wharton is one player that Chelsea wanted to sign. And I've seen he was very physical. He moved the ball well. He switched play quite well. I think he's one player that Chelsea should look at, especially when it comes to replacing Lavia.
I think Wharton is excellent, but my only question is, like, we already have so many midfielders, right? And now we're investing more money in an area where it can be... I feel like there are other areas we can spend money in, because, you know, we go out of games and we say we need a winger, we need a striker, we need a centre back. But if you go look at the players we have in each position, there's a lot of them. And I feel like midfield is our strongest area. So I think the question is, if you bring in Wharton, what does that mean for other players?
But maybe I'm not buying your opinion, because for me,
because you are playing Reece James there.
Yeah, we don't have many midfielder. We have Lavia, who is always absent. We have this Esugo. He came, he played, he got injured, I don't know, for 3-4 months. He came back on the training ground, he got another injury. So that's why you see now this Enzo Fernandez is playing like every game. So we need someone to come and help the midfielder.
And also Mehdi, the other thing,
Mehdi, also I'm telling you, because of that midfield is a problem, because we even have to play Reece James in midfield. Reece James is supposed to be our right back, not our midfielder.
Yes.
No, I understand that, but you see, here's where I think, as much as I don't like the Douglas Luiz move or the Ruben Neves move, I think a short-term option for the rest of the season isn't a bad idea. Because Ruben Neves is good, if you can get him on loan for the rest of the season, I don't think it's a bad idea. Because by then, Esugo will recover, Lavia will recover, you don't have to splash that extra cash, deal with FFP and hinder spending in other areas. So
Lavia has been recovering from 2023.
Yeah, but Esugo as well. Esugo
has never even picked up on. You know, the best attribute, the best attribute a player can have is availability. That is the best attribute. Not even dribbling. No, the best is availability.
Okay, so if we get Wharton, what about... Okay, I don't mind it. I hear you guys arguing. What about other positions like the left wing and striker and centre back?
There's no problem. They're spending money on 12-year-olds. They see if they don't buy Wharton, they're going to pay 40 million for who knows who from Brazil. So it's not like your money. Look at the money where they're spending the money.
Who's the guy coming back from Borussia Dortmund on loan?
Firmino. He's been very good, actually. He's been excellent. His underlying stats are even better than Mamadou Sarr. So he's an exciting
statistics at Dortmund, please, Mehdi.
He's very good. It's even better than Mamadou Sarr's. Let me pull them up.
What position does he play? What position is he playing?
Centre back.
Okay, wow.
Can you
I want to check.
At Dortmund, especially, if you can just show it on the screen.
So
Let me
okay, you can
let me get it.
if you have FootMob, try opening FootMob
Footmob.
because you can go.
Which one?
Yeah, you can the app. You can go game by game and check his starts. He's been injured right now. He just came back, I think. But before that, he was starting a lot of games. Well, no, he started 6 games, so he has 268 minutes. But in those 6 games, he did look very good. Like he had a man of the match as well in one performance, I believe. So he's been excellent, actually.
Aerial duel.
Okay, as
Aerial duel.
Do you
because in
want
the
me to
Premier League
interpret
by
these
days.
reports to you guys?
Aerial duel and ball carrying.
Okay, I can look at those. 1 second.
Okay, as you
Because
look
I
at
was looking
the
at
thing,
him.
as you look at him, I also wanted to pose this question, guys. Do you think that the team is playing way better without Cole Palmer? You know, that is one thing I've been
We told you
sitting
Yeah.
that before. And Christian, we told you that.
Yeah.
We told you that.
But I get tired of repeating myself sometimes, so I just don't say anything.
Yeah,
So I just,
you see, one thing with Christian, he will tell you something and then he'll just watch it. Let me give him time; he'll come to realize.
because it's
So he reminds me of those African old men who say when an old man sits, he can see even when a young man climbs the tree, he cannot see. Where the old man,
He just looking at that. He will learn. He will learn when he
he
falls.
will learn with time. He will learn with time. I've
Yeah,
noticed that.
yeah, but
I've noticed.
sometimes, sometimes it's not good to be repeat something and because we think that people didn't hear it the first time, so you just keep repeating, and then you just sometimes say it once and just be quiet, and then just move along, and then listen to. I like to listen to what you guys have to say because I learn. I listen and I learn. I know because I'm obviously older than you guys, but you older guys, we can learn from young people. Young people have different ideas, fresh ideas. You guys think differently. You see the world in your view, while maybe when you're older you see things in a different, you can see the bigger picture. But it's just for me interesting to interact with young people to see how they're thinking, how they see things, because times change. Life doesn't stay stagnant. Times, we're talking about, you were talking about the football. The style of football is changing, is evolving, and it's going somehow back to the roots. It went to somewhere mad place with the tiki taka and all this playing out the back, whatever, and then that's sort of like revolving back to the more grassroots, the more traditional. So that is also life as well. Life is the same, life changes. We may be living in a computer age and all that, blah blah blah. At some point, you'll see people. Let's say I'll give you a good example. So like now, I can any given day turn on the TV. I can watch like 7 or 8 different games from God knows where: Brazil, Kenya, Denmark, Norway, America. To the point where I don't want to watch football. I only want to watch like 2 games a week because there's too much football. Because you throw Champions League in there, all the cup games, all it's too much. You'll see. Even that'll change. It will come a time there when the TV companies start losing money, when people just had enough. And they'll have to reduce the games on TV or go back to a more sensible system of, back in the days on the Saturday, you'd have like all the games would be at 4 o'clock or 4 o'clock English time. And none of this business, a game on Monday, game on Tuesday, game on Wednesday, you can't even keep up with the table anymore, and you lose interest in the table. Sometimes you don't even know teams are playing. Premier League teams are playing. You only realize you're only Chelsea when they're playing. That's when you take interest. Otherwise, you don't really care. Unless obviously it's a top game like United versus Arsenal, which brings back
That's me.
memories. Sorry?
I'm saying that's me nowadays.
Wow. Even you, young guy.
Yeah, I've really lost a lot of enthusiasm with football. Sometimes I'm like, oh, there's a Premier League game today. I don't even know there's a game today. But I think it's the way the game had become so robotic.
Oh, thank
Maybe
you.
has dropped.
Thank you.
I
Wow.
think Pep had really made the game so robotic, and it became and things,
You talk,
yes,
you
yes, I
talk
said,
about Pep. Remember, Christian have shared something this week about Pep, and he asked in the group, do you think that Pep has just destroyed the football with his tactics? Remember,
I think we talked. We had talked about this with Christian. I think was it 2 weeks ago or something? When was that, Christian?
Maybe because the last live I didn't attend to the last live you had.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, well, I think we talked with Christian, and I was like, yeah, there's the way the younger managers are copying him, and it's making football boring and stagnating, and that's why the managers who are copying him are now starting to fail, and that's why it is very soon we are going to see a two-striker system. The 4-4-2 is coming back. The 4-4-2 is coming back. Very soon we are going to
look at but hang on. Look at the game you just watched, Arsenal Man United. Arsenal Man United. That was not tiki-taka. That was just direct, open, old-school football. Yeah. And how fun was that? It was a fantastic game to watch.
Yeah. You know, the old football was so great that even a 1-0 wasn't boring. You know, those 1-0s that Mourinho used to get weren't boring. They were not boring games. We were just having those quick counter attacks, and you have a good save from Van der Sar.
Yeah.
And it's a game like that, Arsenal Man United, where obviously I knew that Arsenal was going to lose, or because they were playing under ridiculous pressure, and Man United was playing with house money. They had nothing to lose, nothing to lose, and big manager bounce. So I'm happy that they won, because I know they're going to give Carrick a very long contract. Carrick's at the wheel, and then when the reality sets in, like with Ollie at the wheel, they'll be stuck with him for the next 2-3 years, and they'll be going nowhere. So this is music to my ears. This is what I was hoping would happen.
But the question is, what about us? Even us, we have another Carrick. I'm seeing our resident guy from the Western Hemisphere is here. Elba, how are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Wow.
Oh, we're doing well.
I've been listening. So yeah, I have to raise my hands for the people like Isaac, and I think Christian too. But with Christian, you never know what day the wind is blowing him. But Isaac was insistent on. He felt that Maresca could do better, and some of us we just didn't want to change. But today, while we're watching the game, my woman asked me, and she said, "Are you bored watching the game?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not bored per se. I think they're doing what they have to do." I said, "But our previous coach, everything was so robotic. He had to go from left wing center back to right wing center back. And then if you can't pass it to Caicedo, then it has to go to the touchline winger. And then the touchline winger has to, beat his man or two men. And then he'll cross it, and hopefully a striker pokes it in. But there was nothing else, random shots from Caicedo, or, it was too robotic. And I said, this new coach, he doesn't have as much experience, but the team, for one, the two box central defensive midfielders are staying parallel to each other and very close to the defense. So the defense always have an option. And it's less robotic, meaning, it doesn't have to be as neat, but if you have an opportunity to take a shot, take a shot. It doesn't have to be, you have to pass it to the touchline wingers and they have to beat their man. Whatever you got to do. And I told her another thing I noticed was that under Maresca, and again, I'm not trying to backtrack. I think Maresca did a lot of good things. But under Maresca, we had to score 3 goals. I said under Maresca, we would have scored a first goal and he would have started trying to protect that lead. You see, under this guy, we scored 1, we scored 2, we scored 3, meaning he gave us a buffer. Even if they scored 1 or 2, we would have still won the game. So I like that.
Don't you think it's also, don't you also factor the element of manager bounce?
Again, that's why I'm not too excited about it. I'm just saying my observations. I can't say for sure, this has worked out. This is a better manager. I'm just, looking at it from a team perspective of what the eye test of what I'm seeing. It doesn't
There's
seem
more.
very robotic that, you have to, touchline winger has to, whichever way you can find a way to score is the right way. And I think that's his philosophy. He's like, whichever way you guys can find to score, score it.
Elba,
You
can I
saw
ask you a
you saw the
question?
pass.
Yeah,
Elba,
Christian.
so let me ask you a question. So these Chelsea owners, they are zillionaires. They're worth, I don't know how much billions they're worth in money. And they didn't get this money by accident. They got this money because they're dead smart, they know business, they know how to run things. So don't you think that they have examined this guy, Rosinha, at Strasbourg, watched him train, watched him motivate his players, watch his tactics, and they've had experts, they've had consultants, they've had God knows who, and who before they came to this decision, okay, we're going to appoint this guy. They didn't just appoint him because they were desperate or by random chance. They've seen something there that this guy, he's something about him that he's ready for the big time. Or am I wrong?
I think is element of what you're saying, but also coincidence. Because I don't think he was the initial first choice, guys. Or am I wrong on that?
I think
I think he
even
was the last option. Like if everything all else fails, remember there are other coaches that turned us down. And again, Rosinia is not like a hire; it's more like a promotion. He had no choice. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he had to take the opportunity." I don't think he had too much of a choice. It was a promotion, or you get fired.
yeah, and also in my opinion, the decision of changing the manager has been new. There were some stats that Mehdi was giving us, and we've Mehdi, there
Yeah.
were some stats that Isaac had asked you. You have them now.
So we're talking about this season, right? This season, particularly, Anselino hasn't been too good with the ball, but I'm guessing that's just Orban's style. He's really good with the tackle. He's good in recovery, so he looks like he's good with those statistics.
Aerial
Aerial
Can he hand?
duels, I don't see too many stats about
aerial
aerial
duel
duels.
very important because you see this season in Premier League when you play against the teams like Brentford, Crystal Palace, you see there are those teams they are
Mateta,
so physical. Yeah, you need to
Woltemade.
have, yes. So
Look,
Woltemade is a giraffe.
yeah, that's why we need a centre back who is winning this aerial duel.
he's 6 foot
And also
one.
long throws.
The good thing is he's playing next to a very good centre back in Nico Schlotterbeck, who's been excellent this season. There's no statistics really that I can find on aerial duels. I'm sure there's someone else you can find, but generally he seems to be a good tackler. I think he's one of those fast centre backs, maybe. I'm not too sure. I haven't watched enough, but I do like the fact that we've recalled him because God knows that we needed some amount of refreshing here. He's played 172 minutes in the Champions League, 368 in the Bundesliga, 46 in the DFB Pokal. He's already had a goal and an assist for a centre back. So he's done really well. In 10 games, he has 2 goal contributions. I can check more of his statistics here. No red cards, only 1 yellow card. I think he's been solid. How that will transition to the Premier League, I don't know. He is very injury prone, which is a bit concerning. He's had a hamstring injury which kept him out for 5 matches and a muscle injury which kept him out for another 5 matches. Otherwise, he would be starting for Dortmund. So I think we have to kind of take it light on him as well. But he's not the tallest. He's 6'1", which is the same height as Fofana. But sometimes you don't have to be that tall to win aerial duels. You guys remember watching Thiago Silva? He would always have a good leap on him. Mamadou Sarri has got more minutes, a lot more minutes. But I think Chelsea want to keep him there. And Mamadou Sarri is generally good with the ball. I think he's taller as well. defensively, obviously, his numbers are lower because Strasbourg are a possession-heavy team. So I guess it's hard to say who's better until we actually see them. But if we can't find any center back, I think it makes sense to recall one of them from loan, and I'm kind of excited to see him.
Okay. We are recalling a centre back because Tosin is injured. I think that
Really?
is why, and we cannot. Yeah,
Yes.
Tosin is injured.
Yes.
And we can't rely on Fofana because you also know Fofana's injury situation. And also you can't rely on Benoit because immediately Fofana picks up an injury and you have to rely on Benoit. He will play the first 30 minutes and he'll be like, there is too much scrutiny on me. I need to take a break. And he's going to take a break. You know the way he does it. He's going to run after a ball and then he was like, ow, my hamstring. Oh. See you next season. See you next season.
Very, very, very funny.
Do you guys think Badiashile has improved though? Because I feel like, okay, today, bar that mistake, he has become a bit better and less bozo of a player. Or even though he still has that moment in him.
I want to
Confidence.
see
He has
him
a
playing the
Swagger.
full 90 minutes without doing those silly mistakes. Then I can say he has improved.
Yeah, he has those bozo moments. That is the thing with him. He's one of the best passers of the ball, by the way. He's one centre back who can nail that number 5 down. That number 5, he can be actually competing with Colwill. But the problem with Benoit, I've told you, is that if now you turn the limelight on him, you're like, Benoit, you are our shining grace. You're the one who's supposed to save us. Oh, that is too much for Benoit.
Mr. Tyrone, let me
See
ask
you
you,
next season.
Mr. Tyrone, hypothetical question for you. As things stand here now, currently here today, you have a choice. Disney, Van Dijk, or Badiashile? Who are you choosing?
But yeah,
Come on. Guys, come on. Come
Like,
on.
Why Disney? Van Disney.
What?
Come on,
I
guys.
think
Guys,
Badiashile.
come on, man.
Okay,
Come
but
on.
Van Disney is all about his past glory. But then he's been poor. Medi. It's
Did you
not
see him
about
yesterday?
he's been poor. He's been poor. Let me tell you, and for now, I think Badiashile at the moment.
Yes.
But I'm not saying that
Oh, at the
Badiashile is
moment.
yeah, on form
Okay.
now,
Okay.
Yes.
he's better than him. But I don't know about holistically.
Come on, yeah, that's
Van
different.
Dijk has been poor in the last 2 seasons.
Last season he wasn't poor. He was just isolated with
No, he was
a lot
relying
of work.
on Konate.
It was
He was
Kon-
not.
it was-
He was poor.
Very poor.
Yeah, but you have to remember.
Konate was doing all the dog work.
Yeah, he
Yes.
was, but you have to remember Liverpool don't have a 6. Like none of those players are 6s.
But they
What?
had McAllister and Gravenberch. In
Yeah.
last season, they had McAllister and Graven, but they don't have a 6. Yeah, that's true. They don't have a 6.
They don't have a 6. See, that's another issue. So the centre backs are overworked, and I think Van Dijk is now slowly getting tired. His body is also giving up on him. Van Dijk is 30. I don't know how old is Van Dijk. Let me check. Must be 35 now, right? So obviously he's gonna lack the pace he once had. You would really rely on it at a certain point.
Van Dijk has
Because
never
he-
been the same since that horrific injury at Everton.
He's 34. No. When he came back from the injury, he was solid. He was really solid.
It took him a long time to get back into rhythm. And then suddenly his form was dropped. And you saw yesterday 2 goals on Van Dijk directly. Horrible
Yeah,
first
the
goal.
first one was horrible. Jesus Christ.
And did you see
Actually,
how
both goals
you see the first goal? This is what I don't like of Van Dijk. He makes that horrible mistake there, and then he turns it with the ball is crossed in, and he turns around and he puts his hand up in the air, blaming his teammates. So what? You are responsible. Why are you blaming somebody else? It's you. I mean, this is what I hate, this attitude, and that kind of negative attitude rubs off on the other players. Thinking our captain is behaving this way here. He doesn't want to take responsibility. Yes, he went in and scored a lucky goal on the shoulder, but he's part of that problem, that Liverpool team there. All these very expensive players. I don't even know how much they cost, half of them. And the manager is going to get fired. He's going to get fired, and Alonso's going to come into that
By
to that
tomorrow.
by tomorrow. You think?
Yes.
But why would you sack a manager who's winning the league?
Why not? If you're performing poorly, what have you done for me lately? You can't live on emotion, past glories of what you did last year or the year before. It's like, what are you doing for me now? Isn't that what business is all about? If you can't produce results, they fire your ass.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you have to also be smart. I do think Alonso is a better manager in my opinion, but I think Slot's done
Why
enough
don't
to earn
why
himself
don't
another season.
why don't you think that Alonso is a good manager?
No, I didn't say he's not a good. I think he's an excellent manager. I think he's even a better manager than Slot. But I think Slot has done enough to buy himself another season. This has been a challenging year for Liverpool. They have a very unbalanced squad. They still don't have a number 6. They don't have any left wing back as
I
well.
don't subscribe. I don't subscribe to that. A good manager will make the best out of what he has available. There's no such thing as I don't have this player, this number, whatever. What have I got here? Okay, I got this player. Let me make a system which suits what I have available to get the maximum out of these players. You can't. A lazy manager will start blaming the board and say, I need this, buy me this, buy me that. That is a checkbook manager, useless. You want a manager who will say, okay, I'm in this situation. We have 14 injured players. Remember Pochettino, when he was, when was this? 2 years ago when we had like, how many players injured? I can't remember. It was like half the squad was injured.
The entire team was out.
The entire team was injured, but yet he somehow molded something. He made the best out of what was left, the leftovers. A bit like New Year, the day after Christmas. All the leftovers in the fridge. He still made a meal. He still made something.
Can I add something?
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, part of the reason why Andre Santos kept playing as a 10 is because of Maresca's, I think, formation. He pushed it that Santos has to play at a 10, even though most of us felt that he's better as a defensive midfielder.
Yes.
And I like what Tyrone has always said: this play your best players at their best position.
Yes.
Just keep it simple. And I think some of these, because the time is gonna take Andre Santos to learn how to be a 10.
Yeah.
Like Enzo Fernandez might be, it's easier for you to just go with what it is. Anyway, my point is, I just like the fact that, we still play like the old Chelsea, but things seem to be a lot simpler. And an adaptation by the manager is we're always going to have 2 midfielders ready to help these 3 center backs.
Yes.
During build-up.
Yes.
Spot on. 1,000% correct.
And
did you see?
one thing
Did you see? Very quick point. If you notice, especially the first half, this is the first time I've watched Chelsea where I haven't, when the other opposing team has been attacking, I haven't had fear that we're going to concede. I have felt so confident of the way they play today that this defense actually looks solid. They look that the other team doesn't have a chance. That's the first time I felt this way for a very long time. Normally, when other teams start attacking Chelsea, I always start feeling like, ooh, they're going to score. But not today. It feels different.
You see, thank you. But one thing that has really boosted the confidence of that defense is Sanchez. I know a lot of pundits are not going to talk about him because Sanchez is supposed to be rubbish, he's supposed to be crap, but this guy has been Chelsea's goalkeeper. Even the Brentford game, there is a goal. Oh my God, this guy's positioning is so great. It is his positioning. I'm not even talking about him reflexing and his kicking. I'm talking his positioning. He always stands in an angle in which it forces the opponent to play the ball out, to kick the ball away from goal. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Have you noticed how Sanchez deals with the 1v1?
Like Schmeichel at Man United, same style. He makes himself big.
His save today was so amazing from the corner for that header.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. I saw the anger that he had. He wanted that clean sheet.
Yes,
and that is the mentality I want from my goalkeeper. I remember the days when he used to have Kepa in goal, and we have suffered as Chelsea fans. You really suffered.
You know what you are saying right now that we have suffered. There is one guy who is doing also some video about Chelsea. Actually, I can say he was a Chelsea fan. He left Chelsea, supporting Chelsea 2 weeks back. Is from France. So that guy was like, I've suffered enough, and I think my doctor told me that I have to think about my health. So I should not support Chelsea. No more Chelsea.
But I'm saying, remember those days when we had Kepa in goal. Now with Kepa, it was like, no, we were like, and some of us had faith. We were like, no, that thing a goalkeeper cannot save. Well, look at that shot. That one a goalkeeper cannot save. What do you expect Kepa to do? We had reached a point whereby he was so poor that as fans, we started to come up with, look at the way that ball has been hit.
But with Kepa, if you notice, all the teams used to take long distance shots. Every long distance shots, golazo.
Because he was short. He's short. That's the reason. Yeah.
He was even being
Tyron, do you know that?
Beaten in his near post.
Do you know that today Noni Madueke has totalized 368 days without scoring in Premier League?
No assist either.
He was awful when he came on. He couldn't even beat. He couldn't even beat McBurger show.
Yeah.
You see like that game. You see how good old player you can throw him away, but a bit like weeds in the garden. They just reappear. Maguire, what manager comes, the old manager throws him out of the team. Somehow he's back. Throw him out of the team, he's back, and they can't do them. A bit like weeds in the garden. I don't know. The guy is evergreen. But he's good. He's solid, and if you play a system which suits Maguire, he's good. But don't start playing all this Amorim, all this experimental business there. You make Maguire look useless. And they were good. United were very solid. Dogu, wow. How can you go from being absolutely terrible under Amorim, where the fans, every single Man United fan wanted you gone, and then suddenly looking like this? He looks like better as a striker than a left back. How is that possible?
He might have been a left wing back. Yes.
Yeah, I was saying once again we are going to talk again about this Guardiola things. With Guardiola is like he wants to be a star of the team. So I did this. That's why we won the game. Remember what he did in the Champions League final against Chelsea. So he wanted to be the star. And Ruben Amorim, when he came at Manchester United, he should play every player in their natural position. But he wanted to invent something to be a star of that team.
Yes.
Not the player, but him, a manager.
100% correct. When you come to a party, let's say you come to a party and you have arrived when the party is in full swing, you don't just come into the party and then, hey, here comes Mr. Tyrone. Hey, everybody look at me. Everybody stop what you're doing and blah, blah, blah. No, you come there humbly. You blend in, you mingle, you become part of the environment, and you don't expect the party to change for you. And maybe Amorim, that was his fault there. He came there and he decided it's going to be my way, this way. We're going to play 4 at the back or whatever. This system, whatever system he had there. Everybody, you can do as I tell you because I'm the new manager here. And sometimes it's maybe not the best way. You have to be humble. Look at Rosinha, how he's come in. He's come in there. He didn't change Maresca's system. He didn't change. He slowly came in there, slowly, humbly, and subtly, just slowly by slowly changes things. But not from day one you go there. He said, now I'm the new guy here. Now you're going to listen. We're going to play like this. You're going to do like this. And players don't have a chance to adapt or to catch a breath, and some players are left confused. Sometimes they say, okay, we'll carry on how it was before, but we'll make a small change here and there. And then slowly, game after game, we'll make more changes. And that's how you do it. You humbly, not arrogantly.
So
And,
Albert.
I was going to add there was also an insistence on not changing what was not working. It was like trying to force a square peg
Yeah.
into a circular hole. You know, the system that Amorim played required two robust defensive midfielders to play the six. And we know that Casemiro is good for his age, but he's still old. And then you paired him with Bruno Fernandes, who is better as a 10. And now Michael Carrick comes, and again, I was like, is this new manager bounce? But I've watched them play the big teams. And somehow with this new, it's not even a new formation. He's just gone back to old English way of playing. I feel like he the first thing he did was call Alex Ferguson and said, hey, what would you do?
I don't.
No, real stuff.
In my opinion, what I am saying is, I just think it is reaching a point where players are just telling these new guys who are coming in that I don't like to play here. My best position is here. And even when I watched Manchester United, I was like, it should have been Kobe Mainu and Casemiro in that midfield. Mainu is a very good box.
Hello?
We can't hear him.
I think he has a problem.
I think it's cut out, yeah.
Freezing as always. And I don't know if it's cold in Kenya. I don't know if it's snowing in Kenya or something.
He's here, yeah.
Sorry about that. I was saying that when I looked at it and I was like, you are insisting on playing with wing backs. You don't have very attack-minded fullbacks. If you have Trent and Robertson, prime Trent and prime Robertson, you can play with wing backs because they're so good. You
mentioning Trent, by the way, who was falling out of favor at Real Madrid, and they want to sell him. Should Chelsea be interested?
The price, but just before you probably bring in the Trent, I just wanted to just make this point that managers need to understand. If you have very good wingers who are very good at dribbling, then it's good to create a system that puts them in those wide areas where they can take on their man. If you have very good fullbacks who are good at overlapping and crossing the ball, then use the wing-back system. I think that is one way. And also, when I'm looking at the way Chelsea is being built, I'm looking at Chelsea and I'm seeing a team that should be like that team where we had Drogba, Lampard, John Terry, whereby managers used to get sacked, but it didn't affect the quality of the team. The players were just so good and it was all about them. It was not about the manager. It was about the players. It was about John Terry being at the back. It was about Peter Cech being the goalkeeper. It was about Michael Essien and Frank Lampard. It was about Drogba, the spine of the team. Whether it is Ancelotti, whether it's Mourinho, whether it's Avram Grant, whether it's Villas-Boas, they're just good.
And Trent to Chelsea?
Why they want to sell?
No.
He's too expensive. These guys are not going to pay that money.
Tyrone, one thing about players, sometimes I just thinking myself that sometimes they are making a bad decisions. And this, I keep saying this since Hazard went to Real Madrid. Why players sometimes they don't think that I can make my career in this club, becoming a legend of this club, let me play for this club until I go maybe in Saudi Arabia to end up with my career. They just think that, okay, now I'm a good player of Chelsea. I was a best player of the year of the season in Premier League. So it's time for me now to go to Real Madrid. You see?
It is that hype of going to Real Madrid. The same way I would advise Enzo. I think Enzo, Reece James, Caicedo, Sanchez, even Palmer. These are guys who are just supposed to stick at Chelsea. You might think that going to PSG might work, and then it doesn't work for you. Look at what happened to Gundogan. Gundogan left Man City, went to Barca, came back to Man City.
What about the Liverpool player, the superstar who went to Barcelona? What is his name?
Coutinho.
What happened to him?
He's in Vasco da Gama, so I think it's Brazil or something.
You see? So
The
sometimes
Vasco da Gama- Maybe the
I
Vasco
think-
da Gama that's here in Mombasa.
Sure, if they can afford him.
They have a
They'll get
tough here.
Coutinho- they'll get Coutinho from Timu.
From Timu, like Timu, the shopping place.
Yes. Coutinho
Okay.
from Timu.
Ah, you didn't get it. You didn't get it.
We shop at Timu.
Elba, you didn't get it. You were too slow to get that.
I wasn't sure. I was like, they're talking about our agent in Alibaba.
You didn't get it. You've not gotten it till now. Maybe-
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind then. Never mind. This must be a language.
It means what it means is that when you say it's from Timu, it means you've bought a fake one. You've been
Right.
scammed.
Right. Okay, well, I got it. We're saying the same thing.
Elba is an uncle, bro. It's okay.
But Christian gets it, and Christian is more uncle than him.
I am that one guy who never ever shops online. I'm old school. I refuse to buy anything online. I have to
But you
see
are
them.
right sometimes. You can be catfished.
But I'm just old school. I like to see things before I buy things. I want to see if they're real or fake. I want to see if I'm actually, when I open the box, what is advertised is actually in the box. And this business, I know everybody does, everybody buys stuff, and it becomes a bad habit as well. You know, once you get into that rhythm, you go in there, when you're bored, you start clicking on this, and this looks good, I'll buy this. And it ends up useless stuff you don't need. So, and I got so much stuff in here, and I spend more of my time getting rid of stuff. I don't want more stuff. You know, stuff is too much stuff, and then in the end, you're like drowning in stuff. So this is my mentality. So I don't.
Christian, are you one of those old people who slap the watermelon and then you can determine if it's good or not?
You know, I actually smell it. I smell it. I lift it. I shake it, and I weigh it, and then I put it back down, and I take the next one. I'll do about 3, 4, 5, and then I go to shopping to the next place. I won't buy it. So this is me. That is me. And I get so furious if I come home and it's not that red as how Spitz said. If the taste is a little bit off, I get infuriated. Sometimes I even go back to the vendor with the same watermelon. Hey, I want my money back. Imagine that. That is how terrible I am.
Christian, I wanted to ask you a question. You've said that you like to get rid of things. You have so many things that you're getting rid. Can we sign a petition so that you can be taken to Cobham? There are a lot of players there. A lot of players. We have Sterling, we have Darcy, we have. I don't even know how many players are there, so that you can go and get rid of some.
Yeah, but half of those guys, they are somewhere around the world on loan, so I wouldn't know where to find them. You know, I don't even know half the teams are out on loan. How many players do Chelsea have on loan? Mehdi should know that stat. There must be a lot of players out on loan.
Mehdi knows 100 of them. You ask him, he'll tell you, oh, you know, we have a Chelsea player in Japan.
Just numbers. I'm just curious. How many players do Chelsea have out on loan?
Yeah.
How many players do you have?
I mean, there's Sar, there's Ansemino. I think like 15.
15?
Because,
are you crazy?
Yeah.
Maybe you know all 15 of them.
No, I can try, but I don't think so.
But if they have 15 players on loan, so how big is the squad then? It must be a ridiculous squad.
Yes, we have a big squad.
Yeah, I think especially in centre backs. Because, you know, we have Jackson on loan, we have Sar, we have Penders, Pius, there's this left back called Wiley, we have Lasro Fofana, we have Kellyman, we have another centre back or left back in Samuel Smith, We have Jimmy J. Morgan. We have a goalkeeper at
Jimmy
Bolton.
Gilmore is still Chelsea player.
Yeah.
What? I thought he was sold. Okay, Gilmore. He was playing at. Where's Gilmore playing at Napoli?
Yeah. Gilmore is permanent though.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
See, there's also Teddy Sharman Lowe. He's at Bolton. Keanu Dyer is at Volendam. Brody Hughes is at Wimbledon. Buonanotte, you got recalls. So that's different. And Ronnie Stutter is at Barnet.
So all these players you're mentioning, basically they'll be sold for profit at some point.
Probably. I mean, no, some of them might start because Chelsea, they don't just have a group of the bomb squad, they also have a group of untouchables, as in players that they're not willing to sell, and Palmer is part of those untouchable group. So
what about Sterling and Disasi? Are they
bomb squad,
untouchable?
Sterling is 100% bomb squad. His wages are way too high for his age. I really don't think it matches how the board want to move forward with things. I think Fofana will be sold for profit, definitely.
Wow. But some
Natural
Sterling,
Fofana.
Sterling, they just have to eat that money, the 2-year contract he has left.
No,
I mean, it
think
looks
it's
like
one.
it.
Is it one? I think it's one, Christian.
I thought it was 2 years still to go.
Damn. I think that's why Todd Bowley doesn't have a say in the board. Whenever you want to talk about it, it's like, are you shut up, but you handed Sterling a 7-year contract, 300 grand a week. Shut up, Mr. Chairman.
It's 1.5 year left, actually.
Okay, close. So,
Yeah.
and he's on what wages? 300 and what?
300,000 pounds a week.
And he's the
Yeah.
highest. Isn't he the highest paid in Chelsea?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he is.
Wow, that is painful.
Best life, and he's in his 30s. Oh my God, I'd like that. Just
So-
sitting, going to training, and then coming home, and at the end of the week, 300 grand.
He must be born under a lucky star. I guarantee him 1.5 years when his contract's over, some Saudi club will give him a big contract, with probably even more money.
300 to 325. I mean, you know, Hato is on 120, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hato's on one. That's actually pretty high because Palmer is on 130 if you think about it.
But it all depends on the length of the contract. So Palmer's on, what, a 7-8 year contract. So that anybody wants to buy him, they're going to pay a lot of money to get him.
Elba, I have a question to you. I think you joined later. And Tyrone was asking this question once again. Do you think that we are playing better without Cole Palmer?
Yes. I think cohesively as a team, we're playing better without Cole Palmer because Cole Palmer, even though he can give you, it's kind of like I guess picking your poison. He's the best player on the team, but sometimes when the best player on the team is playing, the other players all defer to him. So cohesively as a team, we look like we're fighting better without Cole Palmer. But then you also need Cole Palmer for world class moments. So it's basically like in my opinion, pick your poison. Do you want better team chemistry? Because without Cole Palmer, we do look better. I think Cole Palmer also complains a lot, raises his hand, he gets frustrated, But this last game, I've seen him running back. He was actually doing a lot of defensive things. So maybe we are starting to become a little better with the discipline issues in the team. Maybe this coach is trying to show the players a different way with fighting for each other. So that's how I see it.
So a side note question for you, not related to football. I hear in America right now as we speak, you're having terrible, terrible winter weather. Is this true?
Yeah. I'm actually we actually had a snowstorm last night. So I just drove now with the all-wheel drive car. So and it's ice, sliding on the road. So yeah, we had a really bad winter storm.
And how cold is it?
In Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius. We were international people. We don't do Fahrenheit.
Like -2.
Ah, okay. Only okay. I thought it was like minus
Oh
15 or something.
no, we're not on you people's level. I mean, but again, -2 is still a lot in January. So the main part was losing the power. So we didn't lose power because sometimes the ice storms happen, then the ice weighs on the power lines, and then you lose power
Oh, in our country here in Denmark, we used to have the same problem. How did they solve that? They put all the power lines in the ground.
in the ground.
Yes,
Wow.
so we have all the power lines, everything is in there. We don't have, if you come to Denmark, you will never see any cables in the air anywhere. Everything's
Everything is in the ground.
in the
Wow.
ground. So
And that is how it's supposed to be. That is how we are supposed. That's how it's supposed to.
but in Africa, people go crazy because then they can't steal electricity. Because you know how it is. You hook onto somebody else's power line, you get.
Question for me. Go to sleep, please.
Oh yeah.
But Isaac, before
Yes.
you leave, can you ask me a question? I want to hear your viewpoint on the Cole Palmer thing.
Yes, of course, we are playing better without Cole Palmer because I think when Cole Palmer is playing, the team is playing for Cole Palmer. Then without him, we are playing as a team.
Okay, let me ask you a side question. That if, let's say, Man United, specifically Man United, come with an offer of 150 million for Cole Palmer, but you're going to sell him or you're going to keep him?
I will keep him. Cole Palmer is important in the games like finals. It's very important. That's why Helba said he's an important player in SAC games. See all the finals where Cole Palmer has played. He was very good.
Big game player.
Yes.
So you would keep him. So you wouldn't take the money. But the Chelsea boys, you know how they are.
Mehdi, question for you. Next game is against Napoli. How good is Napoli?
How good is Napoli?
Yes.
I mean, they're horrible in Europe. They're not even in the top 24, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
On the table, they are.
It's Conte. It's Conte in the Champions League.
Yeah, Conte is always struggle in the Champions League.
Okay.
So I think it's an opportunity for us to take that chance because he's historically had a very bad record in that league. So I hope we can go away to Naples and walk away with the results. Man City made easy work of them. I hope we can as well.
Okay, let's hope we're gonna win even one and get the 3 points.
Yeah, so guys, tomorrow I have to wake up so early and it's already 11 here. So I really appreciate all of you. It was nice to chat and laugh and experience anything. So is anybody who has anything to close by as we prepare for the hectic week that is coming tomorrow?
Just thank the extinguished members of the panel for your high IQ views and your knowledge and your oneness and your togetherness and wow, your passion. So thank you.
You're welcome, Christian.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elba is quiet.
Yeah. No, I'm again. I like the sentiment, even though I still think there's plenty of time for us to gather data. I think while I was watching the game today, I thought about what Christian said. This guy is just here to steady the ship, and he seems to be doing an okay job in steadying the ship. I think it would be crazy for us to put high expectations on him, but he's doing the basics, which is Crystal Palace. We should be winning this game. We're winning it without any big anxiety of we scored one goal, then we made some useless substitutions in the 65th minute, and then somehow magically in the 89th minute they equalized. We scored 3 goals, we had a buffer, game done. And somebody mentioned something very important. That first goal was actually a good goal because I don't think I think if it was anybody else but Esteval, they probably wouldn't have scored that goal. The first goal.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elba, for that contribution. And guys, it's been quite nice, and hopefully we'll be here to preview Naples. So have a great evening and have a great week ahead.
You too.